UFC comparison.
I understand. So it's two different sports. I understand that, but my point is, how long has the UFC been around?
Not long. They're going on to their 30 years right now. The 30-year anniversary is coming up.
So my point is, can we all agree that the attention level the UFC has now versus that it had 10 years ago is astronomically different?
Facts.
Right. So all I'm saying is there's room for growth, and there can be an affinity for women's sports. We see that with tennis, right? Like
different.
I understand nothing's gonna be perfectly at an apples to apples comparison, but yo, people have the same love for Roger Federer than they do for Serena. Like,
facts.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And obviously we know that there's that argument if a woman tennis player was to play a male tennis player, who would win that match. But I'm just saying, like, I think the WNBA as a product is on a growth, and it's on a growth mode. Yes, it's not there right now, but I say if you give it another 20 years, I think it will be at a certain level where it can garner a lot more money.
If it makes it to 20 years,
it will.
It will. It will. I think it will.
Do you think the big three will though?
I don't know much about the big three. I've never watched the big three.
It's going to be all about how he brands it, but I think it will, bro. I feel like this is what it is. Branding and marketing is going to play a huge part of this whole thing, right? Yeah. So the main thing between branding something is who's your target audience.
Right.
And that's all I'm trying to get to with this. I'm not trying to, be perfectly clear, I'm not trying to insult anybody, right? Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to make fun of women or anything like that. Like, I love women in UFC or MMA and all that stuff. That is crazy lit, and it's super exciting. Sometimes I want to watch that more than some of the men, right? Having said that, the basketball aspect of it is just like, how much more can they really do and grow for people to want to pay tickets to go see this? And I'm not saying that it won't grow. I'm just saying it won't grow to a point where there's a conversation that's remotely realistic when it comes to even pay. Like, it won't even be half of that.
So I'll give you two names.
Yeah.
Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Until those two got into the NBA was like on the verge of bankruptcy.
Mm. Yeah.
This was like, what, 1980? Around there? So the NBA, the point of me
Jordan saved it from bankruptcy at one point too. Yeah.
Those two brought it to a certain level where they could really productize the league. And then Jordan was able to globalize the league with the Air Jordan brand and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So my point of bringing that up is, if you look at where the WNBA is at now, it's almost equivalent to where the NBA was at like 20, 25 years in.
Fair.
That's all I'm saying. So all I'm saying is there is potential, because there was one point where the league was really in bad shape.
Yeah.
And then two guys came in. They created a narrative between it, white versus black.
Got some sponsorship.
West versus East Coast, you know.
Sneaker endorsements. You get some more airtime. The money starts moving around.
You know what? You have a valid point. The part that I see on your side right now with that example, and then even when you compare it to tennis, they need a GOAT. They need like a WNBA player that is just like killing it, that you want to see what is she going to do next.
Yeah, and I think...
So that could come over time. Okay, I see that.
So one of the things I wanted to bring up was the whole Angel Reese thing that was going on with in the NCAA tournament. Once you start adding competition at that level, it'd be like Magic and Bird, how like that competition it started in the college years before they even made it to the NBA.
But
so when they got to the NBA, it just continued, and there's a story behind it. There's a narrative, and then
but here's the two things.
Garner fans.
But here's the two things. I'm going to go back to my original comment, right? So who is the target audience? Because
it'd be females then. So
it would have to be, right? It would have to be, because I feel like for men, it's got to be super exciting.
Yeah.
Because you're already a consumer of
it needs to stimulate these products. Unless you start taking their clothes off, it's like men aren't going to want to.
He went there. See, I didn't say nothing sexist this whole time.
I know. That was quite the leap.
That's all they can do, huh? That's all they can do to be entertaining.
But you know what? Like, come on.
Nah, you dug that one yourself. I ain't going with you.
No. You on your own.
I'm not saying I'm gonna consume it. It's not if I could care less regardless. But typically that's what it is. Unless you start throwing that type of stuff in there, like for a male, they're not gonna.
Or maybe they need male cheerleaders.
No, I think it's about. So if you use the Angel story, I think what was interesting about that was the narrative that was created around it. So I think it's more so about the story, how it's packaged. Can you create those narratives? Because that's what, if you look about...
I just gave another idea. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Male fucking cheerleaders? I think women would go watch that shit. if you're saying entertainment,
Chippendales,
yo,
that's what we're talking about.
I need to get paid for these fucking ideas. That's a good idea. If would women not want to go watch that?
But then technically, what would that say about the sport if you're coming for the
now
Chippendale
you're talking
and
about
not even coming
but now you're talking about LGBT and all that stuff.
Why am I talking about them?
Because what if men want to get more involved because they get to see men cheerleader men?
No. I'm not. I wasn't.
Where does it end, bro?
I wasn't talking about LGBTQ, but I'm going to bring it up now. So can transgenders jump in there right now? I think that would make it more entertaining. I'm just going there.
We're going too far.
No, we're not. We're not. Because this is a real conversation.
This conversation.
I'm being real with it. Because how many? What do I even call they? So a man.
That is what I think your cup looks kind of empty. I think we need to take a break.